Hello everybody and welcome back. I am Merces and today we're playing more 7 Days to Die. So let's get started. So we have finally reached day 100 of our 7 Days to Die Alpha 19 Let's Play. And that means it is finally time to do another world tour. Last time we did this was on day 50 and I tried to do one every 50 days. So to begin with, we're going to go over the two bases I have made for this season. The first one is right here, the Horde Base, and then right here is the main base. Then, in another episode, we're going to go over the world itself, look at some of the towns and stuff we have looted, all the kind of mines and the quarries we got going, take a look at the sand quarry, and so just go over the world in general, as well as take a look at all the items we have stored up. Now, to begin with here though, let's like to take a look at the settings I'm playing this on. So I did initially start at Nomad, but I've as the series has progressed, I have basically taken it up to Insane. 120 minute, 24 hour cycle. Most other stuff is just default. Playing on 200% XP multiplier, although let's just take that on to 100 because I'm actually max level. But settings, I've taken the air blooming damage down to 75%. I have 200% loot abundance, however I have disabled loot respawn time. We have 32 enemies as Bloodman count. I didn't initially start at 64, but we got some problems with the Horde Base mid-season, so I decided to take those to 32. Hence also why we go to 75%. And our stuff is up. For this episode only, I will be playing with enemy spawning off and cheat mode on, just to make it a little bit simpler. But I do not actually, I don't play with cheats, and I haven't really cheated too much. I've only spawned in one book, which is the Augur book. I'm currently playing on mark airdrops on. Initially start with that off. So, for video settings itself, this is the display settings, and for quality, I'm playing mostly on ultra, but I've turned off a couple of things. So, turned off depth of field, motion blur, and sun shaft. I also turned off reflections just because I feel they actually take a little bit too much processing power in a specific area, which is our crafting room, but I'm not entirely sure why. I'm running this around 80 to 100 FPS and usually don't dip below 60 except Horde Night. And I have a Core i9 9900 and a GTX or RTX 2070 Super. So, let's get started with the actual Horde base itself. For this season, I decided to go with a pillar base. All my other playthroughs of 7 Days to Die have usually been with a sort of a melee type base you see over there with the 50 pillars. But this time I decided to go for a pillar base. This also actually used to be my main base for quite some time until I built that one as well. But yeah, so I did actually initially design for a 2-base season. All the other times I have went with a single one. So pillar base is pretty easy to design. It's just some pillars with this like essentially modules, which is a 3x3 or 5x5 module with 4 pillars in the corners and 3x3 of iron bars in the center, with the beams running across here. A pillar base have both advantages but also some major disadvantages, at least in my opinion. The main advantages is that firstly, the zombies don't actually have a path up to you. This actually means that they will mostly be spent around just running around, not doing too much, which of course means you can somewhat easily shoot them. They will, however, try to start attacking the pillars themselves, which also actually means that they will be staying still. So either of these will be running around just wasting time, or they will be bashing at the pillars and be still so you can actually shoot them. Another thing is that this base is structured sound enough that you can pretty much have most of the pillars be completely destroyed before the whole thing does actually collapse. This base here itself is kind of intended to be able to be collapsed, at least portions of it to be collapsed without actually like losing the horde. That has however never actually happened so far, but it's been close a couple times. The disadvantages, however, is that firstly you can't do melee damage whatsoever, so you're gonna have to use bullets or arrows and crossbows. Another thing as well is that you're actually significantly less protected, in fact, because you have all the iron bars around the place. The iron bars will actually allow you to shoot through them, but it will also actually allow both cop acid and also vulture acid to actually shoot through you. And also the mollusks exploding will also do tremendous amount of damage. And those two things have caused some pretty major issues. In terms of how to construct this one, it's fairly simple to do. You just want to like build the pillars up. Have preferably some hard surface. For the first couple hordes I did just have a dirt floor, but I did initially end up making a concrete floor, also later steel. Then you just want to go at the very least 4 blocks. I'm actually probably want to say you should probably go 5 blocks up, just because of operations. And I just like space them some amount. You don't really have to do like a 3x3, you can do whatever shape and size you want, but yeah. In terms of size, I feel that the current base I made here is a little bit too small. The sort of like the problem with this base, of course, is the fact that, or the sort of like the loose condition about this base is if they can like bash out enough of the pillars. They just of course have to take out like the 1 tall pillars for all of them, and this whole base collapses down. So the larger, of course, the base is, the more damage the zombies have to take before you get a catastrophic failure. In terms of defenses itself, spikes on the floor, kind of basic. I decided to actually go with blade traps on every pillar, which can allow like 2 of them on either side. So that means the corner pillars can't have them. Later on, I actually reinforced the pillars with these plates as well, just to make them even more like stronger. You definitely need to do that with at least this design, but yeah. And then later on, I have added these things here. These are called shotgun towers. Basically, there is 4 shotgun turrets inside them. And also on the beams across there is 6 electric fences. The electric fence is actually really nice. I didn't initially think they were going to be too important, but turns out they're actually really good. Because firstly, they are next to free. This costs a little bit of electrical parts, which I have thousands of. And the nice thing about them is that they actually, most of the thing they do is do stun damage, which means they will be stunned there, which actually means you can just simply be staying here with a sniper rifle and just pop their heads. Really easy like that. The shotgun towers here themselves is designed in such a way that it's difficult for them to actually hit the shotgun turret. They have to first take on this iron bar, and then they also have to take down this concrete plate here before they can actually start hitting the actual shotgun turret. Now, cop acid will still shoot through them, although cops don't really do too much shooting through them regardless, because they will be targeting you, which will be staying up here. There's also some lights here as well. Now, I have had actually a couple of them being break all the time, and one thing which I noticed is of course the fact that they can actually, if they manage to bash through one of them, they can actually go in and of course attack the other 3. That should be fine. The one problem with them is they burn through a very large amount of ammo, about 6,000 to 10,000 bullets per horde, easily if you allow them to. So I don't load them too much, like completely full yet. That's that. Roof itself is just a standard roof, nothing too important there. Don't know if you really need it, to be honest, but or like doesn't really matter too much. The only thing which really happens is, well, you get the mollusk explosions, of course, which damage the roof, and you also get birds going through. The reason for the remarks here is to have a bird cage. The first couple of hordes we had a major issue with birds, but then it's been solved by basically making just 4 entrances. The 4 doors here and a hatch on top. They will actually be targeting this hatch, and they'll be killed by these 4 SMG auto turrets. That's that. One major issue we have with this base is the electrical components on the inside of it. So I used to also have lights on the outside, as well as the electric fences. I did actually usually have like one in the center going to either corner. And all of that was, as well as the lights inside there, all of that was powered from inside there. However, the problem is of course the fact that cop explosions, demolishers, as well as the cop acid will actually take down electrical components in there. So specifically like relays and things like that. So I've tried to defend them as good as possible, making this structure here. These things don't work whatsoever. I'm not quite sure exactly why. It seems like the explosions is able to like essentially just go through the blocks and like damage the stuff on the inside. So yeah, I don't think acid would shoot, but explosions will. So that's that. In Center River, we've got 4 generators as well, which is also vulnerable. And we also got some chests there as well, with just some spare bullets and spare medical supplies, everything like that. And they're also quite vulnerable. So yeah. So that's basically Horde Base itself. Let's actually take a look and see how everything is wired up. So for wiring, initially I had the 4 generators here do all the work, but later I added so much stuff that firstly it's not feasible to that, and second I don't want to because these generators are actually at risk of being destroyed. So each of them has 6 engines in them. I don't actually need 6, I just realized. Well, and they go first out, well yeah, they go actually out to these relays here. There's one in the center and one on either side for all 4 sides, so 12 in total. And they power all of the blade traps. There's 12 blade traps per side, and each engine can actually power 14, so that works nearly perfectly. Plus, of course, the bio relays as well also take a little bit. So that's the way for the blade traps themselves. Everything else is powered from what I call the shotgun tunnels. So it's powered by the shotgun tunnels themselves, which is down there. Is this wire relay here, which goes to the 6 electric fences or poles. Each of these ones is then connected to one on either side again. So that's how actually they were powered. You could of course daisy chain them from here to here and stuff, but the scary part then of course is if they damage this block right here, all the other ones will fail. There's also 4 spotlights for each turret, or each tower. And there's of course the shotgun turrets themselves. So either we can go down this little like access port here, we can just go through this hatch and get down to the tunnels themselves. So this here is kind of the control room of everything. We have 3 generators on this side. The two on the other side here will do the turrets, I believe, and the center one will do all of the lights, above the lights down here themselves, as well as the spotlights. Let me just show that clear. So these 2 buttons basically, or switches, control whether or not the shotgun turret is activated. And that is the source sound. So accessing the tunnels, you can either just follow through one of the 12 towers, or you can just go on this hatch here. This is planned to be connected up to the main base at one point, but that's a future project first down there. So on this side here is basically the control room of everything. The way this stuff is wired up is that this one and this one powers the shotgun turrets themselves, one on either side, so one of them goes to this side, one of them goes to this side, and then meeting in the back. The center one here controls all the lights, so both the lights of the tunnels, they're always on. There's also a switch right here, which will activate the spotlights. And I'll show you a night shot as well at the end of the episode, showing how this thing looks at night. Pretty cool. And then these 2 basically power the actual the electric fences, and that's with or they're always on. Yeah, they're always on. So, yeah. In terms of wiring, this is a little bit sort of complicated, but I don't remember exactly. So this one right here in the center, this is the one for the spotlights. These 2 ones here control the actual shotgun turrets. And then the actual, this one right there is currently actually connected to one of the, to this one here I think is the one connecting it. The top one here will be then the one that connects to, I think. Yeah, The top one here is the one powering the electric fences. This one right here powers the shotgun turrets. And then this one here, which is powered from these nodes here, then power the actual spotlights. I think is the way this is set up. Now, tunnels themselves is fairly just standard. We have a 4 block in the center here. We have 5 blocks in the center here with the ramps here, and I just gonna make a little bit of design. Now, these tunnels here aren't actually completely finished, but most of the stuff is though. This tunnel right here is, I'm a little unsure actually if I might try to do something with this. It would be kind of cool. We'll see. Maybe have some sort of system here where I can like attack them from behind. Because I realized actually one problem is the fact that they can actually get down there, which happened during the last Horde where they broke. Come on. A little bit difficult. Where they basically broke the actual like the turret, the actual bars, the plate, and this block here, which was usually before concrete. I have no actually, since it's hard actually I put them to steel. And then of course they had the like the other way down to the tunnels there. They actually destroyed every single of the connectors powering the shotgun turret, so they were all disabled. And they also started doing damage. And the thing is, because like there was so many down there, the hordes actually stopped spawning because of the ones on here. So I had to basically go down here even twice to kill them all. And I realized this little like place here was kind of nice because they couldn't get free. I could just stand there with an M6 and kill them all. But we might try to make something else. We'll have just a shelter for fuel as well. Now the walls actually of these tunnels, this one here, is not actually just a wall. This right here is a solid cube of concrete, which is 5 blocks deep. So this block right here does 3, and then this is actually, the floor is actually too thick. As you can see right there. And this is just a massive cube of concrete, which is solid, and the top layer is also upgraded to steel. The reason for this is because we had a couple of problems with demolishers, so they would basically blow up and make a gigantic hole there, which meant they actually would start tunneling underneath the actual, like, the base itself. That's actually how they initially, actually that's how they made this tunnel. They actually made a tunnel going from here all the way towards the main base. As well as that's also when they originally made this tunnel right here. It was in a second attempt. So why I decided to, like, the way I decided to fix that is just simply make a massive concrete, so like concrete cube, so they actually can destroy it if they want to. That wouldn't make a problem, because below here was just like a single layer of dirt and like stone beneath that, which has to basically like no strength at all. So that's that. This is definitely overkill. You just need like a second concrete block beneath. I realized. In fact, since I built that, I haven't actually had a single like. I had some steel blocks destroyed and the concrete itself, but no actually like nothing 2 block thick yet. So I went completely overkill. The thing costed like 98,000 concrete mix. Has about, is it what, 27 million HP or something? Crazy like that. So yeah, it's pretty large. Okay, so that's basically the Horde base itself. Now I am actually going to make a video sort of recapping how this base worked. TLDR, it doesn't really support the current hordes. This one here can do a insane 32 count horde without a problem. Well, I say without a problem. There's one problem with it, but more or less without a problem. You're gonna have to do a little bit of stuff. You have to like use the sniper rifle a little bit, but you probably can just AFK in this actually, and it probably should be fine. The problem with it though is the fact that the blade traps usually get destroyed. So I'm not entirely sure actually why they do. One thing about blade traps is of course they do take damage when they deal damage. However, that's only up to a certain point. When they have like 400 HP left, they just stop working. Which means you could just upgrade, like repair them with steel, as opposed to like completely rebuilding the whole thing with like mechanical parts and stuff. That is a quite like bad thing. That's one of the sort of downsides with this base, but yeah. Adding the like extra defense there definitely like fixes that a little more. Although of course now it's a problem that I have to replace the actual shotgun turrets that sometimes gets damaged, and they're even more expensive considering we need the shotgun parts. All in all though, this base works pretty well. I'm going to make some major changes to it though in Alpha 20, and I'm going to make another episode sort of going over the changes I'm planning. Another thing for us is always the fact that the electrical system inside here just basically doesn't work. Also, I actually got these door hatches here, which are for throwing Molotovs down. At the moment, they're not really needed too much because the Zeds usually don't get like past this first module because the defense out there is so good as I shoot them a lot. But these are basically here for actually like shooting Molotovs down, and that's that. Do note you can't actually place this one like right here. It actually needs a block on top of it to support it. So this one here is actually supported by this plate right there. Okay. And this is another light. This is where the hatch is, by the way. So that's basically the Horde Base itself. If you want to see actually how this has progressed, you can just go and see the last world tour at day 50. Link is down in the description. That's that. In that one, I didn't actually have the shotgun turret at all. I don't think I did have the foundation, but not other things. Yeah. Of course, the entire base is upgraded to steel. So let's go take a look at the main base then. Now, when I actually say this is the main base itself, this is not actually the main base. This is just simply the entrance to the main base. I realized that having just like a hole in the ground is going to be quite bad for screamers and stuff. So you kind of do need like what I call essentially a shell, which is just some sort of a defender structure. But yeah, I did actually like overcomplicate this quite a lot because I didn't intend to be able to fight hordes here, but that's just not going to work whatsoever. So this is over-engineered quite significantly. The main feature is the spikes, which will just like kill screamers. Screamers has been a very big problem in this entire series system. Yeah. Also, anti-active, we got the pan as well. I'll come back to that later. So if we go down, get on here, we just have a little place here. We got the 50 pillars here, which means you can do melee damage here. Nothing special about that, but yeah. Let's get down into the base itself. So, jump on this tunnel, you get into a corridor with a dead end. Look at what's going to happen here. And you come to this little 9x9 room. This is basically the center of the base itself. It served as the main base for a very long time. We got a bed here, we got like all the items I have. Had some like forges and stuff, other like and cement mixers and workbenches and stuff, like other workstations for a very long time. So I can migrate that downstairs here. And yeah, eventually all this stuff will be moved out. This will just be an empty room, but for now I haven't actually built the storage room finished yet, so yeah. Going down this one, the staircase right here, we get to the main crafting area. This is where all the crafting in basically my entire world actually happens. So the first room here is the concrete room. And all the rooms there look fairly similar. First we have a couple chests worth of, or like for storage. So for wood, stone and cement. This is basically the stuff you need to make concrete mix. We have 5 forges on either side, so 10 total. This is for making cement. And then we have 5 cement mixers on either side, although I'm actually missing 2, which I just realized I was supposed to fix, but yeah. And basically I always do like essentially forges and cement mixers in like groups of 5 on either side. Okay. Next one, this is the main crafting room itself. This contains a little bit of all the ones in itself. So we have 4 workbenches, 4 chemistry tables, stations, 4 cement mixers, and then 4 forges. This is just for like generic stuff basically, which doesn't fit in other ones. I don't actually make concrete mix in those ones, but yeah. Don't really use this room too much. I use the chemistry tables and the actual workbenches a lot, but I don't use that stuff. I don't think I've ever turned on the forges, for example. I have, right, for sand, true. The next room is the generics iron forge room, which is just used to like melt on iron essentially and just make stuff into that. So we have some chests for iron, clay and wood. The clay chests are for the most part full actually, I have locally. And we have 10 forges for melting this stuff down. This is for making stuff like nails, empty cans forged iron for steel, iron bars, rebar frames and stuff like that. Most of my forges are actually fully upgraded with all the stuff we need. These ones upgrade with crucibles, none of the others are. I do have anvils and advanced spells in most of the other ones, although I do know I'm missing a couple ones there. And the last one is the ammo room. This is for making all types of ammo. So we got wood, clay, coal, brass. On either side we got the lead and nitrate. And then got bullet tips, buckshot, gunpowder, more gunpowder, paper, and bullet casings. So paper is basically the bullet casing for shotgun shells, which I use a lot of. Then we got 2 workbenches, or 4 workbenches for just making the ammo. We got 4 chemi tables for making gunpowder. And then we have 5 forges on this side for making or melting brass, and 5 for this one melting lead. And the ends are sort of to be determined. Okay, that's all the crafting we got itself. Now, the last room here is going to be the main generator room for the entire base, which is where we're going to have all the generators for generating electricity. So far, however, I haven't actually added any electrical stuff to it, so yeah, this is basically a sort of a work in progress thing. Okay. Now, getting up here on the other side, we find this main storage room. Now, it's also another work in progress thing. Really looks like this. So, they're basically gonna be like sort of ordered by groups. So, components itself, come this way, with chests on either, storage box on either side. Then we have materials on either side. Going down here, we have a couple other rooms with just 2 determined groups. And in here, we're going to have a room for just filled with chests, which is just when I'm too lazy to sort stuff, I just dump things in here, basically. This is a tunnel which leads over to the forge room. I found that to be a little bit inconvenient at the fact that like all the production stuff is over here and all my items will be stored over here. At least I'm kind of thinking that would be inconvenient, so yeah, we'll see. Going in this tunnel here, we go to another place. Up here is going to be essentially just part of the base, which is just for fun, where I make some just random stuff, which well, it's not actually needed, but just for fun, essentially. Going to the other stuff, we get the sort of the main portion of what I call the living quarters. The plan with this base is it's supposed to be sort of essentially a settlement of multiple people. This is a single player world, but whatever. And yeah, so this is kind of where we get to sort of more like less useful stuff, but more for fun. And there's a staircase going up to this 9x9 room. Over this tunnel here, we get firstly over here, we could get back to the forge room, craft room. And going up here, we get to the canteen area, which is just basically like a place to eat food. We also have a kitchen area here, so this is sort of where you like would sell food. Basically, this is where I store all of my food itself. And we also got some campfires for just, you know, making food. Campfires are really only useful for actually making food itself, so I don't need it for like anything else, so I'm gonna have it in the actual other rooms. And then going over here, we get to the actual generator room. Back in the canteen, if we go this way, we get to the medic lab. Or medic bay, which is this place. We got some benches for sort of a reception area. This one will be like for reception stuff. Got a staff area here. Then we have 2 sort of like low intensity medic bays. Right here, we got a storage room for all medical items. And then down here we'll have some like surgical rooms, operation rooms, stuff like that. Now, I say all medical items, I do plan to have like essentially first aid kits around the place to... I think there are actually some first aid kits, isn't it? What are they called? Cabinets. Yeah, this one there, so the medical cabinets. I do plan to scatter them around the place, maybe just for fun, but also I do plan to have like a care package back somewhere so I don't have to like go here to get medical items, because that's kind of inconvenient. Yeah. So that's basically more or less the actual main base itself. It's mostly just for fun. This is of course super sized compared to what you need, but yeah. Going down here, this is the latest project right now. This is going to be down to the vault area, and this is down to the bunker. So the bunker's plan is basically just to if the Horde base falls, the plan is to go back to the main base. And if the main base falls, the last resort option is to go down there, run down here, attract the zombies to me, and then run down here. In here, there's going to be a corridor filled with like a bunch of different traps. So like so the dart shooters with blade traps, electric fences, spikes, all the other stuff. As well as several like just solid steel walls is the plan. I also have one of those in Alpha 16. Down here is the vault itself. Going down the staircase, you get to this sort of center room, and from there will be 3 rooms leading from it, which will be the actual vaults themselves, which will be looking like this. So there's sort of octagon shaped, and we got on the 3 sides here, we're gonna have basically a 3x3 of wall safes, and that's that. This is our working burgers. Now, for the walls safes themselves, if I'm not mistaken, you can't craft them. That's a complete lie, you can craft them. However, there are quite a lot of like decorating items in this place. So, for example, the actual kitchen or the canteen area, you can't craft like benches and stuff. And tables. So, this is stuff I have spawned in from this menu right here. Just to basically get the stuff down. This is not actually like use one thing I don't really consider cheating. There is a like decorations mod out there, but I decided it's time to go to completely vanilla, so yeah, just use a grid menu. You can get basically all the items themselves. That is the only things I've spawned in now. With the exception of I did at one point spawn in the Augur book because I couldn't find it. And that was that bad. I was actually spawned in Asphalt as well recently to fix up there's a road there, but yeah. Anyways though, that's basically for the 2 bases itself. What I'm actually going to do now is I'm going to go through in the next episode, go through the world itself, so look at like the pad for example. I'm going to look at all the stuff I looted, look at some of the quite large in fact quarries. This playthrough has consumed a ridiculous amount of resources. I think probably on the lines of about like, I don't know, about like 1 million, at the very least 1 million concrete mix. Where's that plane? As well as, what the, oh, is that the marker? Oh, okay. I enable actually markers on point because I think I have some like airdrops I haven't taken. Might look at that. But yeah, so I think I consumed about 1 million concrete mix, several million iron, several million, probably 1 million sand. I think I'm not quite sure, but so several million iron, several hundreds of thousands of lead, hundreds of thousands of coal, hundreds of thousands of nitrate, hundreds of thousands of shale. So yeah, quite expensive. About 15,000 paper we've used. And other like just ridiculous stuff. Several thousand mechanical parts, several thousand electrical parts. And yeah, we have taken apart a lot of stuff there. Anyway, so that's it for this episode. I hope you liked it. If you did, please leave a like and consider checking out the rest of the channel. And anyways, thanks for watching, have a nice day, and goodbye.